Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Inside Movies Galore. I'm your host, David Streggy, and here in the room I have director Dakota Ray with me. And why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got involved in filmmaking, and how you got involved with the actors for your first film. Um, that is called My Master Satan. So go ahead, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Dakota Ray, and I'm a Denver filmmaker and artist. I currently have 5 full-length features, as well as several short films. Um, as a child, I began making films at age 7, and I just have kept on making films into my late teens and now early 20s. And I'm yeah. So My Master Satan, that started out actually as a short film called Satan's Coming for You. And it was a story about Alistair and Bubba, played by myself and Matt Marshall. And we trip acid and see Satan. And like 1 month after completing that short film, I decided that I wanted to make a full-length feature about those two characters. And I
Okay.
already knew Brian Knapp. I met him online through Craigslist. And
Okay.
Wild Willie Wakefield, I knew through work. And so, yeah, that's how My Master Satan, all the actors. And that's kind of like a VHS anti-film with a heavy metal soundtrack from Lucifer, Texas, a Florida death metal band, Darren Peterson.
Okay.
Yeah.
And once you put the film out, did it have really much of a reception to some of the underground folks that are out there?
Yeah, I think it definitely did. Because I mean, it's certainly not my best film compared to some of the films I'm doing now.
Hmm.
But I really think that it helped get my name out there, especially in the underground scene. And a lot of people that found out about me originally through My Master Satan are still following my work until today at this point. So
Awesome.
yeah, so
Um, so the next project that I was going to ask you about is your second feature, which I'm going to ask you about here. Your second feature um, is called American Scumbags. Correct.
yeah, that's correct. Yes.
Okay. Now, had you used any previous actors in this production once you got going on this project?
Yeah. Basically, after My Master Satan, all the actors except for Elby, who's always in my films, disbanded kind of. And then shortly after that, this is about August 2016, I met Nick Benning at a thrift store in
Okay.
Denver, Colorado. And I met him, and then he was interested in being an actor in my film. So I designed a character called Lucifer in American Scumbags specifically for him. And then he referred me to his friend Fred Epstein, who
Okay.
went on to play Chester. And the one of the main most important characters in American Scumbags is Billy. And for a while, I couldn't really find the actor to portray him. But I actually got in contact with my neighbor Darian Fox, and he did a really good job and brought the character to life. And I collaborated on him with 2 other of my films.
Okay. Cool. So what I'm going to ask you at this point in time is, now that I've asked you about these two films, why don't you give us a synopsis of My Master Satan, just a little bit for the audience, and then a little bit of a synopsis for American Scumbags, and we'll move on to your next features that you have done. So,
Okay. So, My Master Satan, it is a heavy metal themed anti film. It's shot on VHS. I purposefully degraded the footage. I wanted the movie to seem like it came out of the 1980s. And
Okay.
it's basically about like two devil worshippers, and it just basically is kind of like a fly on the wall film, and it documents their exploits, and their friends Charlie, Brian Knapp, and it just shows them, and like it's kind of more like a slice of life actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And American Scumbags. What? How could you surmise that? Just.
Yeah, it's kind of a more like dark humor, like sleaze kind of anti punk film. I mean anti film. And it has a punk metal soundtrack from Pizza Tramp.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of similar. It's kind of similar in structure to My Master Satan, as is. It's just like a fly on the wall film, and it follows around a psychopath named Billy, and it also shows the hitman Johnny, who works for Fred, and
Okay.
it kind of just and then Wheeling Deals, who's a homeless Vietnam veteran that's wheelchair bound.
Now, many of the bands that you have used in your films, now those are local bands, correct? From Colorado, per se.
No, they're not. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, going on to the Acid Sorcerer, which was probably your first Indiegogo feature, at least to get the film out there. Um, how did you get involved with that project, and did you use any previous actors from American Scumbags in this project?
Yeah, I did. So the Acid Sorcerer, I got after the completion of American Scumbags, I got nicer equipment basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it really like elevated the film quality, so that way instead of being like a more fly on the wall film, anti film, I could actually start making films that were a bit more cinematic. Uh, the Acid Sorcerer is about it has several characters. Among them are myself. I played a serial killer named Smoke that had a multiple personality disorder, and he had Leech, which was kind of like his alter ego that compelled him to murder. And then there's Nicky, played by Nick Benning from American Scumbags, who played Nicky, which was a cross-dressing snuff filmmaker. And there was also Darian Fox. He played a homeless drug addict in that film, as well as Leech. Um, and then there is Brian Knapp from My Master Satan, and he played Ivan, which was probably like a sadistic drug dealer.
Okay.
And that film features the Acid Sorcerer is kind of the earlier films is kind of a bit more important to me than My Master Satan or American Scumbags, because it has a soundtrack from the band Ramses.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of theirs, so that was kind of a big deal at the time for me to actually get to use music from one of my favorite bands in my own film.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that we've talked about My Master Satan and American Scumbags and the Acid Sorcerer, if there was any moments from any of these three films that you could take from the films and say, yeah, that was my favorite shot, what would it be?
You mean scenes in particular in the films?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I would say for My Master Satan, there really isn't any like particular scene in that film that sticks out in my mind, except for like the acid trips.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's for My Master Satan, it definitely be the acid trips. And then for American Scumbags, I would say my favorite parts from that film are the parts where the part when my character Johnny kills Lucifer, played by Nick Benning, because it has the two characters that are walking along kind of by like a railroad track, and then they see one another, and then the punk music like kicks in, and it kind of like gives the scene like a lot of adrenaline, in my opinion.
Okay.
And, yeah. And then I really like the finale though of American Scumbags, when Darian Fox's character Billy goes and he confronts his ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Acid Sorcerer, was there a scene that you could take from it that would have been a favorite shot?
I would say probably just both of the acid trip scenes, when Nikki has the acid trip and then when Smoke has the like crucifixion acid trip.
Okay.
That's really great scenes.
Okay. Moving on to the rise and fall of American Scumbag, which is actually one of your more recent films. Why don't you tell me how you got involved with that project, and was there anyone that you had used in the Acid Sorcerer in the rise and fall of an American Scumbag? I imagine that this is kind of like a direct sequel to American Scumbags, kind of.
I mean, yeah, it is, but my intention going into the film was I wanted to create like a film that was it's kind of the indirect sequel to American Scumbags, meaning that it stands well. I mean, it stands on its own pretty well, and you don't need to have seen American Scumbags to understand the rise and fall of an American Scumbag.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you use anyone previously from Acid Sorcerer in this new film?
Yeah, there's Darian Fox. He's kind of the focal point of the rise and fall of an American Scumbag, as it follows his character Billy as he's trying to get an insurance policy, so he murders his father, thinking that he'll get the insurance policy to leave town with his girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Anyone new that you worked with on the film?
yeah, there's LB who played Wheeling Deals. He came back as that character. Then there's Pat. I met Pat online, and I designed the character Pat specifically for her Alaskan Cinder. And then there's Marla Rose, and we met online, and she played Billy's girlfriend in the movie.
Very cool. So moving on to your newest film, which is American Antichrist. How did you get involved with that film, and was there any new actors or actresses that you worked with on this particular film?
Yeah, with American Antichrist, it was kind of a project that I just started like in my own on my free time, and I'm kind of the star of that film. I mean, if you watch the film, it mostly follows my character, and that's because Darian Fox and I had kind of stopped working together, and but the film it has LB who plays a religious fanatic named Benjamin in the film, and he's a serial killer that preys on the homeless people. And then Nick Benning came and he played a drug dealer named Chris in the film. And then his friend Meg played Crystal, who is the drug addict in the film.
Okay. And how do you think the film turned out for yourself? And if there was a favorite moment or shot that you could take from the film, what would it be?
Yeah, I'm really proud of American Antichrist. I think it might be my best film yet, but probably my next film will be even better though. But 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 I would say my favorite part of the film is probably when my character, the Antichrist, has like the weird surreal drug trip, and he takes the drugs, and then he sees the angel, the hallucination of the angel, and he eats it and tears off his wings, and then kills it. That's probably my favorite part.
And one more question about all of these films. Where were many of these films filmed in location wise?
It's mostly well, everything is in Denver, Colorado. Mostly we go down into the industrial parts of the city and film. And then other than that, it's filmed like scenes involving my characters are usually filmed around my house. And with Nick Benning, we always just are able to film in his condo in Lakewood, Colorado.
Okay, cool. So ultimately, I see that you did you contribute to Faces of Snuff anthology as well along the way.
I'm actually, due to contract, I'm not actually able to talk about that film because it's supposed to be kind of secretive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So I appreciate you being able to come on once again to talk about the films that you have created because I really believe in you, man, and I wanted to get another interview out there to kind of help because you still have your campaign going on, and I figured another brand new interview wouldn't hurt in the whole long run of things. So thank you so much for coming back on.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me and your continued support.
Now, is there anything that you can remember that happened on set that you'd like to tell the audience that might have been like something hilarious that might have been while you were rolling on set or whatnot, like a blooper?
Yeah, I mean, it's some stuff I'm probably shouldn't say on air, but nothing really sticks out in my mind. I mean, kind of each moment can be there are a lot of those types of moments, so I can't really call out one in particular.
Okay. Alrighty, man. Well, I appreciate you coming back on, like I said. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, Dakota Ray. Now, where can we find your films at and to buy, or are they on any other formats and just where?
Yeah, currently right now, my first 4 movies are on the Kings of Horrors YouTube channel, streaming online for free on that platform, and
Okay.
then also available on DVD through my Store Envy site, the Dakota Ray / RA Productions Store Envy, and you can find me on my Facebook page as well.
Alrighty. Awesome. And I have been David Stregi. I run Inside Movies Galore as well as Movies Galore of Milwaukee. So thank you for listening. Definitely check out some of his films. He's got an Indiegogo campaign that is almost up. So get your chance to get a copy of American Antichrist. It's definitely a film that you probably will need to see. So thank you for listening. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Dakota, why don't you say good afternoon to the folks that are out there?
Yeah, good afternoon, and I'd also like to thank everybody that contributed to the Indiegogo campaign, and we surpassed our goal.
Which is awesome. I mean, when I saw that you passed your goal, that was like the first. That's the first time that your Indiegogo campaign had actually passed a goal, and that's an accomplishment.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
So, in any case, definitely check out his film, folks. Like, share, and subscribe, and check his films out, man. So.